This is a project that needed some updates. It was listed before, didn't sell, so we approached the seller and purchased it and had a plan, and we'd love to show it to you.
One of the first things that needed to be fixed was the half walls. These are typical half walls on a stair system, and
in Forester Woods, a lot of them. A lot of the 1990s houses had half wall staircases.
We've done probably 5 or 6 now, and have kind of figured out the best way to do it without having to tear everything apart. And this is it. So we just imagine all of these walls closed off. You couldn't see anything upstairs. Put in some posts. Luckily, the previous owner had already put in hardwoods on the stairs, and as you'll see, upstairs as well, and then the whole main floor. I think Stephanie decided to paint the backs rather than refinish them to get that look out of it. But
also it saves some costs as well.
Yep,
instead of having it finished hardwoods, and it still looks great.
And the railings we make at our shop because they're just not priced the way we like them if you were to buy them, order them online, or have somebody custom make them. So this one we just tacked in our shop, and then we paid somebody else to do the final weld, but we could do it.
And who was it? Out of North Bend, right?
The welding shop. Yep.
The welding shop, and then also the powder coat in Preston.
Yep, Powder Vision in Preston. They do the powder coating. So yeah. The hardwood floors, they were all here.
But they were in like an orange, the dated orange color. So I wanted to find a good stain. We have George's Northwest Custom Floors. He does an amazing job. We worked with him for, 15 years.
Yep.
Actually, my dad.
Previous owner, yeah. So it's been 20 plus. So,
yeah.
Yep.
But he finds a way to bring in, if you want more hardwoods, you can't tell the difference. So you'll see later, but in the living room, there were no hardwoods.
Yep.
And you can't tell.
He tied them in.
He tied it in.
Yep.
Here's the kitchen.
They had originally they had a small island, but it was only about this wide, and it faced that way. So she knew that had to be changed. And we've also run across a similar layout in the past where we have an eating nook over on the side that doesn't usually get used all that much. So we actually stole, because these cabinets are existing and they're great quality, so we wanted to keep them, but we stole the island drawers and doors, made the bench over there to tie it in and kind of extend the space, and then
who doesn't want a couch in the kitchen?
And yes, and then we built the island at our shop and painted it, maybe $1,500, something like that. And then of course we had to put new countertops on it.
And then figuring out paint colors that work with the wood plus the quartz. We have Carlos has been with us for forever, but he has amazing quartz product. So that was one of the other things too, is figuring out economic wise, if we have, it's per slab. You're basically paying per slab plus any fabrication that they have to do for sink and otherwise. But if you can make it so that you'll see it in the upstairs main bathroom again for that reason. So we were able to do 2 slabs, I think, between the two.
Yeah, you have to kind of know how big the slabs come so you can roughly lay out if you can stretch it to another vanity upstairs while also finishing the kitchen. So when I walked in, this is the difference. I walk in, I'm like, that thing's about to fall apart. It looks terrible. And then Steph's like, I like the color. And then she brought Sally,
my staging and interior design consultant, to kind of help determine the plan.
She was doing backflips over it. So it's a solid build. I mean, it's copper. It was meant to be that way. It's copper. What
was here was granite, gross brown granite, no backsplash. So it was just working with the cabinet color plus to try to keep the hood, to find all of the things that kind of work together. It wasn't super easy task, but it was kind of fun. Challenge was kind of fun.
We had to add a bunch of lights too, because again, the kitchen was back farther that way. So it helps brighten up this whole area because it was
adding some recessed lighting above.
And it was dark in here, so.
And this was a poop brown wall. It was gross.
It was an accent color for sure.
It was so gross. And then the fireplace was
what was it, rock, riverstone or brick? I think it was brick.
It was brick.
It was brick.
It was brick.
Yep.
And the fireplace was not in good, it didn't look like it was in good shape. It works, operates properly, but that was another cost-effective way.
Yep.
We have done it many times, is spray painting the inside and even the exterior.
Yeah, most of the fireplaces in our neighborhood are still decent working fireplaces, but they just don't look great. So yeah, some high heat paint, we pulled that all off, cleaned up the glass, painted the backdrop, and it works as good as it did the day it was put in. So.
And then adding the stone to the
And
ceiling,
mantle.
and the mantle. The door was here, but they had this really small, almost useless patio. And this to me is this is where you want to spend your time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's got a little gate out there. So yeah, we had fences need to be replaced. Obviously, wind over the last recently just
They
took
were
them
old.
down. So, and then the used to have 6-foot cedar fence all the way around, so you couldn't see any of this. So
Couldn't see it, couldn't hear the creek. Yes.
all of the fences knew all
fencing
the way
is new.
around, but we stopped the standard 6-foot cedar and went to this hogwire fence so that you could see through and hear and everything. So, and it's
And you can see it from the upstairs much better. But yeah, the 6-foot fence was just blocking the gorgeous backyard. So added this deck and some stairs, and we added a second deck over in the dining room. Should we go there now? So in here, they had this red paint with a chair rail. It was
right.
terrible. It made the room super small and short, and there was a window there instead of a door. So we actually added same kind of idea to extend the space outside and inside. It makes a smaller dining room feel much bigger.
yep. Another way to look at that, the window was the same size width-wise, so you don't have to change out the header. All you're doing, in the building sense, the header's doing the same thing whether it's a door or window. So all you really have to do is take out that lower section and boom, you got a door. So that was a very, very simple change.
Here, this was a sunken living room with blue carpet. A sunken living room is fine maybe in 1994,
Sure.
but now it made, again, the spaces kind of chopped up and small. So Phil and the guys created a floor system. George came in and tied in the hardwoods with both the entry and the dining room, and you can't tell the difference.
So there
at
would
all.
be at your feet there, it would just be a straight stop, and that's where you have to go in, tear out the old, tie it back in, and you can't tell where it starts, the old stuff. You know, it looks like a lot, but it's mostly surface stuff that
Yes,
we did. to
cosmetic.
it. I mean, it was
The
all
roof,
it was
the
all
roof
surface.
was newer. The siding is hardy plank. It's newer.
They had some rodent activity previously, so we had to have that all remedied. So all of the
Attic and crawl
insulation in
space.
in the crawl space and attic are completely replaced.
I do want to show the powder bath because this was a part of the inspiration for the modern botanical vibe.
This one's all you. Go ahead.
You want me to go in it? It's a stretch. It was a little bit of a risk, I suppose, but found the wallpaper, and we were either going to go white with the wainscoting, but we took a little bit of a risk, and I think it turned out really well. But the wallpaper I got from Home Depot, the mirror and light was Amazon. The sink, this pedestal sink, was actually upstairs in the master. They had two, so we reused that here. because what was here was a super small pedestal and a toilet, and that was it. There was nothing going on in here. And the laundry, they had this race car black and white vinyl in here.
Yep.
And I really like this tile that I found actually at Lowe's. Phil did not like installing it.
Yeah, it went from we can reuse that. No, we're gonna do some peel and stick or something simple to go over top of what was existing. And then she.
And I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
No, then he brought sheet vinyl.
Yeah.
Sheet vinyl.
And then you're like,
I was
no.
like, no, I'm not doing that. I'd rather do actual tile. So we tore up all the underlayment and everything. And
they did these shelves too, actually. And it's just basic wood, right? And you
just a 2x10, burn it, sand it, put a finish on it, and yeah, she wanted some heavier shelves, and
I couldn't find them to actually purchase, like the size and the depth so that it was still useful. And he's like, well, I can make it. The open railing made a huge difference. Fun lighting, obviously that was not here. I think it was a glass, brass, super sexy light that was here, but hardwoods, these were different.
They're slightly different.
Woods.
Yeah, they're slightly different woods from downstairs, he said, but I mean.
You can't tell.
You can't tell.
In here, they had a blue, bright, dark blue.
I remember.
And then the coffered ceiling was
That's right, they had some crown
painted.
or something in there, yeah.
No, it was painted the same blue as the
It was
wall.
wallpaper? No, it was just
Paint.
painted. You're right, yeah.
But no recessed lighting, so he added the recessed lighting because switched lamps are great, but
Very
It
common,
needed-
so yeah, not all of them, most all of the masters in our neighborhood have just the switch outlets for lamps, and I think it's crazy. So
it is crazy.
we had the insulation out upstairs or in the attic anyway, so it was a simple pop a few lights in.
So sleeping at night, yeah,
Yep, never have your windows closed.
no. And you can see it now.
Yep.
Because again, before it was 6-foot fence, you couldn't even see the creek from up here.
Yep.
Yeah, so. The primary bath, they had two ridiculous pedestal sinks. The one that's from the powder, there were two, and then this little
Skinny little something.
off the shelf cabinet, one mirror, right? No, they were separate
They were all
mirrors.
separate. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep, and she was able to reuse the light fixtures themselves.
But I got new
globes.
globes and vintage light bulbs, and obviously the mirrors are new. Carlos helped us out with the quartz. Phil's guys built the vanity.
Mm-hmm.
We did new faucets. This was actually here.
Yep.
So we tried to work with the style, so we didn't have to replace
Fixtures.
the fixtures. Tub is not new.
Wow.
No,
Yep.
it's in great
Yep,
condition.
We got lucky with
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
so
so they had done an update at some point in time, and some of the stuff worked. Obviously, the vanity did not, but yeah, girls worked with the tile
and maybe it wouldn't be what I would totally choose if I redid the bathroom, but sometimes if it's updated and you can add in some other fresh things, you don't have to spend the money on tearing it up and redoing it all.
it's too new to destroy.
Yeah. So shower, there's a toilet room, and then a great walk-in closet. Actually, all of the bedrooms had closet systems.
Yep.
So
Closet systems were great.
they were great. But other than that, that's all besides paint trim.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did in here.
Well, there's no sense on wasting money because there's a lot of things, and yeah, we've stopped a lot of people from tearing things out that are
Or spending too much money on materials.
yeah, because it's easy to look in a magazine or online and see something that's and it, maybe whatever it might be, something that doesn't get used very often or it just sits in a corner. Why spend the extra money to do it when there's a much easier way to go about it? And yes, we do that quite often.
And part of it though is how long they're going to stay, how long they plan to stay there. So if they plan to sell in a year or two, we definitely hone in on things that they shouldn't. You're not going to get your money back in that time period, but if you're there for longer, you need to enjoy it. So
Yeah.
add some. but do it in a way that it's easy to change later when you do resell instead of making big risk things in all the rooms. Paint is an easy one to change later. So we definitely stop people from spending too much money on certain projects. The main bathroom, this is probably one of the bigger changes as well. This had the vinyl that had the diamonds. It was green diamonds, white vinyl, green diamonds, vinyl, and then dark green laminate countertops. The mirror we reused, the towel hardware we reused. This is actually the original cabinet we painted, and this is the same color as the island downstairs. So again, using the same paint if you can get away with it instead of spending more money on paint. New hardware, obviously at Carlos, this is the same countertop that we used in the kitchen because of the 2-slab situation. Undermount sinks, faucets, new toilet, and the tile. And Phil and Angel love this tile.
Oh my God.
It comes in a sheet, and it's really kind of tricky to...
It's one of those things, again, you get the...
but it's so cute.
It looks great. You could spend 4 or 5 times the amount and get something that because all those little inlays are separate but glued to the same sheet, and not all of them were in the same right position, so you got to break them loose and put them in the right spot. You spend 5 times as much. You might not have to do that for very often, but it's worth it to save 1/5 of the price. So.
Okay.
And here...
It's a bedroom.
It's a bedroom, right?
But
We
again,
finished the hardwoods, trim doors. They had 0 doors on all doors on all the closets.
Yeah. And these are really cool doors. They got the little magnetic stopper on the top, so.
And they make the room prettier.
Yeah.
And great views, rattlesnake ledge. Yeah. We usually swap out all the lighting because oftentimes it's this gross orangey vibe.
Yeah.
But these we get like in big multi-packs and use them almost every project, every listing.
Yep.
Because they just make sense.
Like $60 for 2 or something like that. Yeah, they were.
So, and they make it fresh
Yep.
and new. And then in here, as far as it's another bedroom, same thing, added the doors, but we set it up as more like a multi-purpose room. So it could be a playroom, it could be an office, it could be it could be any craft space, hangout space, but it's still technically a bedroom.
Yep, bedrooms are pretty simple. This is the only one with carpet in it, obviously, but not a whole lot to change in these.
And then the 4th bedroom, same thing, doors, door hardware. The black mat is definitely, I love it. I love the white, black, wood combination. And again, you can add in colors with paint and pillows, paint on cabinets or pillows or art. So keeping it pretty simple. And we were fortunate that all of them had closet systems, but just no doors.
Another thing on the windows, actually, we spent some time. They're still the original windows, and we're kind of approaching the age. These windows are still in great shape, but we actually
really
pulled them all apart. There's a couple different things in the Windows system that they're meant to drain water. So we went through all of them and steamed them out and actually cleared all those drains. Wow. So any water that comes in, because these windows, unless you're really picky about windows, there's 10 years left in them, right? Like they're not a single seal's gone. I don't think I saw any fogs anywhere.
No,
so
none.
Yeah, so they're all cleaned up and ready to go. But if you were to replace all the windows, I mean, you're talking a pretty penny, and it just doesn't need to be done for quite some time. So.
This was fortunate for us because it was one owner, original owner.
Yep.
So sometimes when you have multiple different owners, they might do some DIY stuff and you're just like, well, how do we fix this? Or one owner, and They just took really good care of the house,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
were fortunate in that. It just needed a little love.
Choose where you want to put your money.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, you don't have to spend all of what you're thinking. Well, depending on what you're thinking you should spend, but you don't have to spend as much as you might think. Just choose where you want to put the money.
But also expect that it'll go over budget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's and not by much. But I think the rule is 10%. You plan for 10% more than what you hope to spend. And it's just things that come up that you don't know until you actually get into the project. And a lot of people they don't talk about going over budget clearly. But our budget, though, when we establish a budget, is usually pretty conservative, and we know that there's going to be some movement upwards, but it's not significant as far as the entire project is concerned. But it is something that people need to
be aware
plan
of.
for.
Yep, for sure.
Something changes, you find whatever,
green,
you find rodents in the attic.
or green drywall or green wallpaper.
Yes.
And now the whole bathroom has to be remade.
Yes. They can reach out to me. I kind of do the schedule stuff. Phil and I often will go, we'll do walkthroughs typically on Fridays and help people figure out a plan. So keep this, change this. They may have ideas. So that's a normal process. Walk through, provide some estimates, and obviously some direction on what they should and shouldn't do or how much they should plan to spend. And then we kind of help them figure out what the overall project should look like so that they can get, if they're looking for net proceeds, bigger net proceeds, making sure that they're not spending money where they shouldn't.
We just talked somebody out of a brand new kitchen not that long ago.
We did.
Because it wasn't necessary. They're going to be moving in next year or two. So doing a paint similar to what we did in the main bath, the hall bath, paint the existing vanities, do a little reconfiguration, new countertops, backsplash.
And you guys are doing the faces.
Yeah, we're
faces.
adjusting a little bit. So kind of an in-between, but not worth going full
not
on it.
spending $50,000 to $80,000 on a kitchen remodel if you're selling within a year or two, because you're not getting that back.
No.
You're like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Are you sure?
And we might still spend it. We're just spreading it out. Like we said, we're doing more updates on more of the house with the money that they want to do the kitchen.
What can we expect? Hopefully we'll get a little more comfortable on the camera. I don't know. This is not my normal jam, but you did great.
And this one worked out very well in the neighborhood. Obviously, that's always fun. We don't usually search them out too much if they come available.
It's opportunity.
Yep.
We work with a ton of other homeowners for both on the real estate side, but also the remodel and design in North Bend, Washington.
And very specifically in Forster Woods.
Yes.
Yep.
I think I figured we've worked with 35 homeowners so far. 212 out of 212 in Forster Woods. Yeah. We love North Bend. We'll be here. We don't see ourselves leaving, even this neighborhood, honestly.
No.
We've thought about it a couple times in the past, but it just works. It fits. It's comfortable. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the tour, and if there's any questions about any of the things that we did, we'd be happy to help or answer.
Get a hold of her.
No.
All right,
See you
we'll see
later.
ya.